How long have you been divorced from your wife?
Divorced 3 years this past November.
Okay. And how did you find out she was cheating on you?
It was interesting. She cheated with my youngest daughter's best friend's father.
Really?
So my daughter would go out with her friend to her house to have play date. Every Friday night they have a movie night. My wife would go and stay there. And she had he was a single dad. And things happened and they got into a relationship. And at a certain point in time, her best friend was so excited that her father and my wife liked each other and that they were going to be sisters. Then she mentioned that our parents like each other. We're going to be sisters.
Wow.
But my daughter immediately realized what that meant. You know, what was going on.
Your daughter realized that her mother was cheating with her friend's father.
Right.
Amazing.
And she told my middle daughter, and they try to keep it in, but after a while, like a week or so, she came down and wanted to talk to me.
Your daughter did?
And let me know what she had heard.
So she said, Daddy, I heard that Mommy is sleeping with my best friend, is going to marry my best friend's father.
Well, she just said what the little girl said.
Oh, I see.
And I deduced the same thing.
Yeah. And so when you hear this, what's your first thought and feelings?
Well, frustration that my daughters were in the middle of all this, that they had to see this. Divorce is always a bad thing.
Yeah,
and you try to protect your kids. In this case, I couldn't protect them. They were right smack in the middle of it.
Were you surprised to find out your wife had cheated with this man?
I was surprised because she was the love of my life. And for many times she would tell me I was the love of her life, and I thought I was just blissfully ignorant.
Amazing. And Gus, how did you find out your wife had cheated?
Well, of course, coming home later, and actually one of her friends had told me, you know what's been going on? One of her friends had told me. So I was, well, let me see let me see if this is true. And I'm digging around. I remember finding T-shirts in plastic bags. Hey, I sent you this T-shirt so that you can smell what I smell like when I'm not around. And
that's what the guy gave to her?
Yes, was sending her T-shirts. and then I found on Facebook some guy she was seeing had her listed as in a relationship with. I'm seeing the name and I'm like, well, he's got to post it on Facebook, it's a public forum. You know, and it was like, okay, well, this is obviously really not just she's screwing around. I mean, she's in like full-fledged relationships. And she was introducing my daughters to these, because it was more than one guy. She's introducing my daughters and bringing them around because they were telling me, we met this guy, and they were telling me their names and where she knew them from. And
how long had you been married before you find this out?
We were married. I was married total probably about 14 and a half years. So probably, I would say maybe 13 years into it.
Really?
Right around 12, 13.
And so were you surprised? Were you hurt by it?
It did at first, but it had gotten to that rocky point where, because she had a lot of other personal issues that had caused a lot of problems within the marriage that had been going on for years.
And so when you ask her about, are you cheating, are you dating this guy that says this, what did she say?
It was always, it's none of your business.
Oh, she
I
was
had my own, it was like, okay, well, until then you find the thing on Facebook. It's like, okay, well, this is really...
And when you showed her what you had found on Facebook, did she admit it then?
Well, I actually gave that to the lawyer first, because by that point I'd already filed, because she was coming home drunk, and she'd be like, look at these pictures, and she'd have pictures of herself, provocative pictures. Oh, look, I showed this to this person, and look at this. And I was like, you know what, you're showing me pictures that you sent to people on your phone that are rather risque in nature.
How did the kids deal with this?
They did seem a little more withdrawn at first. They both reacted differently.
Yeah.
I mean, my younger daughter, because because we talked about this before, does a voice on a TV show, so she's like Mama's little girl, and the older one was a little more disrupted by the entire episode.
How did your kids handle the mother cheating on you like this?
Not well at all. They had issues with mom previously throughout their childhood. A lot of body shaming, and there was always weird competition between the mom and my daughters.
Really?
It was kind of I liken it to the mirror, mirror on the wall, who's the prettiest one of all.
Wow.
And when her daughters started growing up and becoming pretty, she did not take lightly to that. So she was always criticizing and my daughters, and so they had a tumultuous relationship.
So your wife went from one extreme to another one,
Right.
to being introverted to just totally going crazy.
Right.
And so you finally go and file for a divorce. You filed?
I filed for divorce. She wouldn't file.
She would not.
But I just thought, I knew that it was over, and she already had grabbed that new branch, and there was nothing I could do.
So did this bother you mentally and emotionally, you know?
Oh yeah, because I've always been a very confident man. I never had an issue, but when I found out about the cheating, it really struck me to the core.
I bet.
And I started looking at myself and say, what's wrong with me? And there's got to be something wrong with me. But I took a look at the other guy, and I was always looking for, well, if he was younger, better looking, rich, or something I could pinpoint.
Right.
But he was just a normal guy.
Oh.
Just a normal guy.
He wasn't better looking. He didn't have more money.
No.
Was he taller than you?
No, we were on the same height and everything.
Was he white?
No, he was Latin like me.
I'm trying to find something.
So because of that, I deduced it must be me.
Wow.
And so I had a hard time with that until I finally realized, and I went to counseling, and realized that the issues that were there were issues that she had, and it wasn't on me.